Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Last time we left off with moving up in Italy. Just talking about how the go through Italy is going and actually showing some African American troops, which is a nice sight. We're now on to Soviet guns knock at Czech door. September 24th, 1944. Another front is opened. A Russian gun pounds a German frontier position in preparation for a drive across the Czechoslovakian border on September 24th. In the picture below, an angry-faced red infantryman holds the head of a falling comrade, while other infantrymen bend low and charge across a railway track in the battle for a German-held depot in the Carpathian foothills. Yep, the Soviets have been moving up. Obviously, we've been talking about this. They are moving in through Poland and other places, and now they're opening up a front in Czechoslovakia. The Soviets are crashing down on them. The Germans are trying to slow them down, but it's at this point the Soviets have way too much momentum. There's not really going to be a lot of stopping them. And yeah, there's probably many sites like this. Many men getting downed while their friends or, their fellow soldiers march ahead. An American nurse in Luxembourg. Oh boy. October 1944. Roughing it. Oh boy. Although this nurse, attached to a field hospital in Luxembourg, must take her bath from a helmet, she can grin at discomfort. American nurses moved right along with the armies, and while they worked long and hard hours caring for the wounded, it was often necessary for them to share also the discomforts and inconveniences of battle conditions. Yeah, and this actually helps a lot because if you think about from the soldier's perspective, one, obviously, a lot of the soldiers, actually most of the soldiers are men, obviously. So one, they like seeing a pretty nurse, just how guys are. But also, if the nurses are also sharing in the discomforts of war, for a lot of people that will spark a drive, because it's like, well, my nurses are doing it, I can do it too. They're just civilians. They're not even combatants. If they can do it, then I can do it, and they'll work through it. And so it helps build a sense of shared suffering almost, but it's suffering that they're willing to go through because like I said, it's shared suffering. They're not doing it alone. And that really helps with morale. The lighter side of war. October 1944. Between battles. Two Yanks wave a greeting and call "Hiya Toots" to a scantily clad woman dummy that had been bombed out of the window in Markstein, Germany. And below, 4 American infantrymen relax in the library of Rimberg Castle on the Dutch-German frontier. One GI reaches for a book while the other help themselves to preserves, but they keep their guns handy. Yeah, soldiers will be soldiers. They'll make silly jokes, things like that. Whatever can help with easing war a little. So they see a mannequin dressed kind of scantily, oh, hiya toots, just joking around. And it is kind of funny the juxtaposition here. They're in a library, dirty from war, not really what you would imagine. One guy's going to read a book, and the other, they're just eating some food, but they still got their guns at the ready. It's just interesting what soldiers will do to keep themselves distracted, and it's just funny. The British begin the liberation of Greece. October 4th, 1944. Welcomed by the populace. British amphibious forces invaded Greece at Katalikon on September 26th, following landings from the air 2 days earlier. Little opposition was met, and by October 4th, Patras third largest city in Greece, was liberated. The impoverished citizenry of Patras above warmly welcomed the troops, and a few days later, Corinth below was also liberated. Yeah, so the Greek people are obviously going to welcome the Allies. They've been under the foot of the Germans for a while now, and Greece did have strong opposition, and they did fall, but now the Allies are back, and they're kicking the Germans out. So to the Greeks, this is like, oh yeah, thank you for coming back for us. Thank you for not forgetting us. And just as a little bit of a flag nerd here, it's interesting the flags that they came up with when they were just trying to represent the Allies. You got the Union Jack looking a little different. I don't actually mind how it looks. You've got the Soviet flag, which is got a star here and the big old hammer and sickle. I can't tell what flag that is, actually. Almost looks Scandinavian-ish, but not sure. If anyone knows what that could be, let me know in the comments. And then obviously you have the United States flag, which is probably the most accurate looking. The rest, these two are not so accurate. But that might be the Greek flag, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But just interesting. And I'm sure for the Allies, this is really nice because, once again, it's another place where they're coming in, and the populace is happy to see them. For a soldier, that's really nice. It makes life easier. It's nice to be appreciated for what you're doing. It's for anybody. Supplies move up in Italy. September 1944. Transport problem. Fighting in the mountainous country of the Apennines, my bad, were many stone-built villages favored by the defenders. Proved a severe test for the Allied supply and transportation organization. In many places, the terrain was so difficult that laden mules were used to carry supplies for the infantry. Many remarkable feats of bridge building was achieved by the Allied engineers, upon whose work the speed of the advance largely depended. Pictured on the left shows a Bailey village thrown across a 530-foot gap on the 5th Army front. So you can see they've got this huge bridge. And yeah, the Allied engineers some of the feats that they did are just crazy. They build these bridges and things like that in no time. And it's crazy to think of the feats of engineering. We think of like crazy feats in war. Julius Caesar having his troops build the bridge. I think it was over the Rhine River. That sounds about right. And then tearing it down. But the Allied engineers, yeah, they had, a lot more technology on their side, but still, it's crazy feats of engineering that they're able to pull off. And then above, 8th Army vehicles wind over the hills. Yeah, you got a lot of this, Italy, it's an old country, you've got the Roman Empire, and obviously people before them, but you have the Romans, I would say the Franks, and it's just never-ending, people upon people have built and built and built in Italy for thousands of years now. So you're going to have a lot of these old buildings, and, Italy is very hilly and mountainous, so once again, it's really hard to move through Italy. It's one of its best defensive parts. So the Allies are going to have some trouble getting through it, and they do. The defenders have a lot more advantage. Bombs and leaflets fall on Burma. October 1944. Heavy air attacks in Burma. During October, many powerful blows were struck against important Japanese communications and supply routes in Burma in support of the advancing 14th Army by the Strategic Air Force of Eastern Air Command. The picture above shows a direct hit from an RAF Liberator bursting on an enemy railway yards at Yi. Near the main line running from Bangkok to Rangoon. At the right, propaganda leaflets shown showering from an attack plane after a heavy raid on the enemy rail station. So, yeah, they're moved through Burma. Obviously, they're trying to stop the Japanese at any point. So, they have the air superiority. They're going to hit the Japanese hard as the 14th Army moves up. And you can see right here, they hit the rail track somewhere in there. You can't even see it. I think the line's going this way, but big explosion hits the Japanese train. It's going to slow down the Japanese. They're going to be starved out some, things like that. So it's once again showing the power of the air. You know, if you don't have air superiority, especially now in modern war, you're not going to win. And the Japanese are a prime example of that. And yeah, they dropped a lot of leaflets in this war. How effective really were they? That's debatable. I would say they didn't really have much of a effect, really, because people have their minds made up. They're not going to read a leaflet and go, ah, yes, I was wrong. Some cases it's possible, but very unlikely. But with that, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me what I can improve on. I always appreciate feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.